Hey, Mr. Gibbs here, and we are going to begin our next video in nonfiction elements, and this is a very important one called Main Idea. So, let's go ahead and set up our notebook. Should be on the left-hand side with today's date and the title Main Idea. Now, this one we're going to kind of go right into it, and I'm going to give you two definitions. First is topic, the thing, person, object, event, idea, the text is mostly about. Now, topic is different from main idea. Okay? So, you have the topic, the thing it's about, or mostly about. Then you have the main idea, and the main idea is the most important thing we learn about the topic. Now, go ahead and copy down these two definitions, and we will add two main idea here in a moment. Go ahead and pause. I'll wait. All right, so if you're hearing me talking now, I assume that you have copied these two definitions. Now, let's move on a little bit here. We're going to look at a very short video, and what I want you to look for is what is the topic? And then what do we learn about this topic? Okay, so pay attention to the video. Like I said, it's not a long one, but listen, tell me what the topic is, which should be pretty obvious. And then you need to think about what do you learn about the topic? What do you learn about this thing or person or idea? Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name is Pam Nichols. I'm with the Animal Care Center in Bountiful, Utah. I'd like to talk to you today about picking the right breed of dog for your family and for your lifestyle. This is a really important question to answer because so many dogs are left in shelters because of temperament and behavior problems. So one of the first things you can do to ensure that your dog is going to be with you for a good long time is pick a dog that suits your lifestyle. So for example, I'd like you to ask yourself the questions: am I active or am I sedentary? Do I need a dog that is a lap dog, or do I need one that will go out and run a marathon with me every weekend? That's the first question, because there are dogs that are super active little dogs and super mellow little dogs, and there are very active large dogs, and there are super mellow large dogs. So, and those are also questions that your veterinarian can help you narrow down the field. The other question I'd like you to ask yourself is your lifestyle more conducive to having a large dog or a small dog? Because that narrows things down very, very rapidly. And also keeping in mind that small dogs tend to live longer than large dogs. So an average 80 to 120 pound dog might only live 7 years, where a 5 to 10 pound dog might live 15 to 17 years. And then the last question I want you to ask yourself, besides temperament and size, is do you prefer dogs that shed or dogs that don't shed? Because there's no such thing as a low shedding dog. And all the designer dogs in the world, they'll say they're low shedding dogs. They truly are not. They either shed or they don't shed. And you can pick a breed of dog that fits not only your lifestyle, but the size of dog that you prefer and the coat type that you prefer.
Now, fairly obvious is that the topic was about dogs, okay? What did we learn about dogs? What did we learn about dogs? Well, picking the right breed of dog for your family is important, right? That's what this whole thing is about as far as the dogs go. So, this is still not the main idea, but your topic's about dogs. Let's take that a little further. It's about picking the right breed of dogs for your family. Now, what are some things that she discussed? Well, it's all about the lifestyle and what you want. Okay, do you have an active lifestyle? You're out there jogging. Are you going to make sure you walk your dog? Or do you have a more sedentary life, which means, kind of sitting around the house and Netflix, stuff like that, okay? Do you want a large dog? Do you want a small dog? Do you want a long-haired dog that sheds? Or are you looking for a dog that does not shed? So usually it's a short-haired dog, right? So this is still on topic. Now, if we put this all together, for a main idea, we would come up with, when picking a dog, it is important to consider factors like your activity levels, size preference, and shedding preference. And you could say of the dog if you need to, but you said it in the beginning. All right, so do you see how we kind of went from a very, very general topic, you're just picking a noun, to, you're still not there for the main idea, but you're definitely kind of adding to it. You're looking, what is the right breed for your family? Then you look at which types of things were they talking about, okay, adding details to the topic. And then finally, you're coming up with your main idea. All right, so let's add a little something to main idea. And sometimes when you think of things like the EOG and some text, a lot of times central idea and main idea are interchangeable. In other words, they're talking about the same thing. All right. You may even hear the word gist. Okay. Rare, usually they're going to say central idea or main idea, but sometimes they, maybe in the reading, you're going to hear that word gist, and they mean the same thing. Text, especially longer pieces, usually have more than one main idea. Each section of a text typically has its own main points. So we go back to things like, remember when we were talking about text features, right? The whole reason I had you go through your magazine and look at these different things, titles, subtitles, headings, and so forth, is because these things build on each other. And these things are what's going to help you get the main idea. All right? So, step one here, we are going to figure out the topic by doing some practice. Now, I am going to read this to you. All right, so listen and read along. The largest lake in Scotland is called Loch Ness. There are many strange tales about Loch Ness. Of course, many are about the famous monster, but few tales about Loch Ness are stranger than the one about the ghost ship of Loch. Many villagers claim to have seen a large ship drifting on the loch. They say it always appears late at night. There seems to be no light on the ship. There is a report of a magical halo that shines on it. The ship can be seen very clearly because of this halo. Then the ship mysteriously vanishes. There's more to this mystery. The ship can be seen only once every 20 years. Okay, so we're figuring out our topic first and foremost. Remember, this is your noun, right? This is a person, place, or thing, an idea. Usually something tangible, but it could be an idea like communism or capitalism. That's can be a topic. Okay, so we're talking about Loch Ness, and again, if you know what a loch is, it's kind of a place that is mainly off land. It's water that is trapped, and there's a very small way out of it. Okay, so that is a loch. Just think of it as water. Okay, a body of water. Now, our topic was Loch Ness, correct? That's the easy thing we can pull out. Obviously it was repeated a lot throughout the entire thing, so Loch Ness is our topic. But we need to identify the most important things we learned about the topic. So when you go back into the text, okay, what do we see in here? All right, there's things that talk about the ghost ship, right? And then it discusses the ship and how it appears at night, about the halo, about how it mysteriously vanishes, and that you only see it once every 20 years. So if you live in that area the whole time, you may see it 3 or 4 times your entire life at the most, right? So we're picking out the details of this topic of Loch Ness. So what we learned about, how there's a ship not just the monster, right? Maybe you've heard of the Loch Ness monster, but this was not about the monster. It was about this mysterious ship. Okay? Step 3 is when we write a well-written main idea statement. Now, when we look at things like the EOG, they're going to give you this, okay? They're going to give you a well-written main idea statement, and then they're going to give you 3 others that may be well-written, but it's not really the main idea. So it is important that we as students are able to actually write our own main idea. Once you can write your own main idea sentence, you are going to be much better about picking out what a good main idea sentence is on a standardized multiple choice test like the EOG. Now, writing the main idea statement. Okay, go ahead and write this underneath what you just wrote for main idea. It should be expressed as a statement of fact. Okay, probably shouldn't have words like what, how, or about. Should probably have the words is or are. Here's the thing. When you have a main idea statement, much like we've talked to you in persuasive writing or taking a stance, is you need to be matter of fact about it. If you're wishy-washy, you're like, well, it might be a good, this might be true, this could be, maybe. You know, those words are, if you're trying to express the main idea, they have to be, those kind of statements are too, I can't take a stance. I'm not focusing in on the main idea. So you need to be matter of fact about it. You need to be strong in what you believe the main idea is, or what, not believe what the main idea is, but what the main idea is. Okay? And you shouldn't use really I, because if you're using the word I and you're not an expert on this subject, as far as, well, I believe. Okay, well, I'm glad you believe that, right? But what is the truth? What are facts? Facts matter, ladies and gentlemen. And being able to write a good main idea statement means you are stating it as fact. There's no question about it. And the main idea, that's exactly what it should be. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of bad statements and good statements here, all right? And you need to see the difference. Okay, let's look at the bad statements first. It's about Loch Ness and a ship. Okay, that's true, but is that a main idea of the entire paragraph? The answer is no. All right, about how Loch Ness has a ship. Again, that's good. You're getting there a little bit, but not really. Because again, what details? Why does this matter? Is this expressing the entire paragraph on what it's about, its central or main idea? And the answer is no. What mysteries Loch Ness has? Okay, you didn't even mention the ship there. So, again, it's details. Loch Ness isn't just famous for its monsters. Okay, true. But again, are we stating the main idea of the entire paragraph by saying these things? Again, the answer is no. That's why it's in the column that says bad statements. Okay, so let's look at some good statements. Loch Ness is famous for many mysterious things. Okay, not bad, because you know that's true. That's what it's about. There is a ghost ship in Loch Ness that is seen every 20 years. Again, that's a good statement. Why? Well, you're highlighting Loch Ness, a ghost ship, and that it's seen every 20 years. Many people have seen a mysterious ghost ship at Loch Ness. Again, that's a good statement. Why? Because you're talking about the mystery, the ship, and its location in Loch Ness. Okay? Do you see the difference in the two? Again, if you need to, pause it for a second. Look at this. You should be able to see the difference between this bad statement and a good statement. Alrighty then. So, when we put this all together as a main idea, in addition to its famous monster, Loch Ness also has a mysterious ghost ship that villagers see every 20 years. Ding, ding, ding. That is it. And do you see why this is the main idea? Okay? Look, yes, you've acknowledged there's the famous Loch Ness Monster. Okay? You've acknowledged that its location. You've acknowledged the mysterious ghost ship and that the people there see it every 20 years. This is a great main idea, right? All right. So, what I want you to do is go to the bottom of your left-hand side and make room if you have it there. You know, we're talking about 6 to 8 lines maybe, and I want you to make 3 columns. If you have to go on to the, if you run out of room and you need to go on to the right-hand side of your reader's notebook, that is perfectly okay. So, but you need to make 3 columns. A smaller column should be your topic. Your middle column should be what you learned about. And then the last column should be the main idea statement. Now, again, if you already feel confused looking at this, I think you need to go back to the beginning and look at it again. Because remember, we have a topic, that noun, person, place, thing, or idea. This something, right? What you learn about is the details in what you learned about, and then the main idea statement puts this all together in a well-written statement. So if you're looking at this right now and you feel confused, I really need you to go back to the beginning of the video and watch it again. But if you're feeling good to go, I want you to write the example that I have here, and then we're going to look at 2 more paragraphs, okay? So pause and go ahead and write this stuff down. It's okay, I'll wait. All right, so if you're hearing me now, we're moving forward. So, first one we're going to look at is, can you figure out the topic? I bet you can. But Paul's right here, and I want you to read this yourself. Mr. Gibbs is not going to read this out loud to you, all right? But let me give you a little hint. This text is also about choosing a dog, but the details and reasons are different than the video we watched at the beginning, which means your main idea will need to be different, okay? So if you thought you were just going to be able to be like, oh, that's exactly what the video was about. Yes and no, all right? So pause right here and read. So if you are hearing my voice, that means you have finished reading. And remember, you're going to put your topic, what you learned about, and the main idea statements. All right. So you've got all that, right? You filled this out. Oops, went way too far, sorry. You're making me dizzy, Mr. Gibbs. Okay, so you have done the first one on your own here. You put your topic, what you learned about, and then wrote a main idea statement or central idea statement. Remember, main idea, central idea, even sometimes the word gist, G-I-S-T. These mean the same thing. All right, so we have moved on from dogs, which was not the same as the video because they had different details and reasons, right? Now, let's look at the second one. All right, so read this to yourself. This is where you pause and read it, okay? Now, some of you are going to go ahead and get ahead of yourself like, ooh, Christopher Columbus, ooh, okay? Pump the brakes. Yes, it talks about Christopher Columbus in the first 3 sentences, but you need to go further. See, this is where I think sometimes that we get confused or get too in a hurry to get it done, okay? Yes, it talks about Christopher Columbus in the beginning, but It's not about Christopher Columbus. It's about explorers. Okay? So I've given you the topic there because I know some of you are going to be like, oh, this is easy. I'm pausing it right now, Mr. Gibbs. I'm writing down Christopher Columbus. That is incorrect. It is about explorers, not just Columbus. Columbus was an explorer, but it's not just about explorers. Okay? So pause the video right here and read this completely, the whole thing. And yes, I'll wait. Alrighty then. So if you hear my voice, that means you have finished reading this and you have completed the 3-column chart that was on the left-hand side of your reader's notebook. Right? If not, do it before you play any more of the video. All right, pollos. Now, how are we going to do this with our main article of the magazine that we chose? All right. Now, when you get into bigger things like this, it's not just a paragraph, right? You've got to take certain sections and you got to kind of get a main idea of that. And then you're going to try to put it all together to make one big main idea. So, this is again why we talked about text features so much, right? Did this whole lesson on it. So you should be able to walk through this and know exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about things like a section heading, right? So let's look at our Hot Wheels. All right, we're going to do this together, and then this is what you're going to do with your main article. Remember, your main article may not be what's on the cover, but the article that has the most pages, the nonfiction article, right? Remember that. So, sun catchers. Let's look at this first one. Now, you can pause it and actually read it, okay? But, again, I'm going to kind of help you out here. What does this do? This is talking about solar energy itself, solar panels, and how these cars are run by it. So, if I'm looking at my graphic organizer here, section 1, sun catchers, its main idea is the solar racers run on a complicated system of solar array panels that are very different from the normal cars we drive. Okay, so remember, you're getting that from just this. Remember, what's that called right there? What is that? What is that? That's your heading, right? Okay, that's a section heading. And this is what we get as the main idea of that section. Now, is this the main idea for the whole article? No. Let's look at another section, space cruisers. Now, again, you're welcome to pause it and actually read the entire paragraphs here. But, again, this is practice. What is all of this saying? Right? Well, what this is talking about is why do these cars look different from the cars we have that we normally drive? Mom and dad are taking you to school in a car. It probably looks absolutely nothing like the cars that you've seen in here. Now, why? It has to do with things like aerodynamics. In other words, how the wind hits it, why it's lighter, things like that. This is why these cars look different and why they look different. So, I'm looking at my Section 2, Space Cruisers. The main idea is solar race cars must be sleek, which means, kind of lower to the ground and flatter, aerodynamic, and light to make most of the solar power. Because again, it's not running on fossil fuels, it's not running on gas. Therefore, the car needs to be lighter and do better because you're doing it with less power, because solar power cannot produce the same type of energy that fossil fuels can, petroleum, gas. Okay, combustible engines are different from solar power. Now, let us look at the last article here, or no, the third article here. Flash to the future. Sounds like a movie, which is good. Again, like, that's why they do these things, to kind of catch your eye. So, what is this one about? Okay. Well, again, if you're high speed, you're welcome to pause and read the entire thing. But since this is an example, and you're going to end up doing something on your own, I'll help you out here. Okay? What this talks about is the differences between solar energy and fossil fuel energy, gas, right? Petroleum, oil. So when you're looking over this, it's talking about the difference between how it affects global warming, being environmentally friendly, right? So if I look at my section 3, flash to the future, the main idea is the technology used in solar race cars could someday be applied to regular cars and help the environment. Okay? So now you've seen these 3 sections. So if we take all these and put it together, we've taken all these, section 1, 2, and 3, and put it together. What is our main idea? Huh? What is the main idea or the central idea of the entire article? Okay, well, racers are experimenting with solar technology and car design to develop the fastest, most efficient solar vehicle and help improve our planet. So, think about what you've just done here. You've taken talking about the technology itself. This was in greater detail when you read it, but does this kind of sums it up, right? That first section, car design to help it the fastest, most efficient solar vehicle, right? That's section 2. Section 2 was talking about why it looks how it looks. And then the last part, to help improve our planet. Again, because it was talking about the differences between fossil fuel and solar fuel, and the hope that one day this can be turned into a regular thing for vehicles that you see on the roads. So you've taken all 3 sections, kind of summarized each little spot, and then came up with a main idea. And this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's all about. Okay? Because again, when you are writing a well-written main idea, what you are doing is understanding how it's going to look on the EOG or some standardized ABCD test. Okay, because you're picking out what is the best statement. Sometimes you're going to see statements, yeah, that looks good. A looks good. B's, nah. C, nah. But A and D, right? You get them sometimes down to 2. You slash the trash, and now you're down to a 50-50 shot here. Being able to write your own main idea correctly is going to help you pick out the best main idea on a ABCD test. Okay? Now, where are we going from here, Mr. Gibbs? Well, this is how it looked as a whole, right? Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, main idea. Now, you're going to do this with yours. Now, this looks a little complicated, but it's really not. You should be able to figure out how many sections you have. And those sections should be based off the headings, right? The headings in your main article on your magazine will help you figure out how many sections you have. You may not have 5 sections. You may have 4 sections. You may have 6 sections. It all depends on what magazine you're writing, okay? Now, so this looks complicated, but it's really not that complicated. You have your sections. You're going to give me a topic. That's what these lines right here for, right? Your topic. Okay? And then you're going to take details out of that to write a main idea of just that section. Then you're going to do the same thing for your other section, and then however many other sections you have. Topic, main idea. Topic, main idea. Topic of the section. Then you're going to put that all together, and you're going to come up with what is the whole article main idea or central idea. Okay? All right, so you're going to go to your primary article. It should be the biggest main article in the magazine. We've already talked about what this is. It's the one I wrote down or that we have pointed out as your main article. Remember, you may have something on the cover that was an article, but it may not necessarily be your main article. So there should be no question on what your main article of your magazine is, okay? Now, count how many sections are in your article. This can be anywhere from 3 to 8 or even more. Make a box on your paper for each section. Reread each section and decide on the topic and the main idea or central idea of that section. Write a good main idea statement for each section. Remember, you're going topic, looking at the details, main idea just of the section. Okay? Until you have done all the sections together, and then you're going to add one more box at the bottom of your paper and write a main idea statement for the article as a whole, okay, for the whole thing. Now, we just did this with the Hot Wheels solar power one, right? So you should be able to do this on your own. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're feeling confused at all when you're looking at this stuff, okay, we're not just doing check boxes to get things done. You should be going back to the beginning of this video and watching it again, okay? Feel free to raise your hand also, but the whole idea of this is for you to be a little more independent. And if you need to take that responsibility and watch the video again, that's a good thing, okay? So, good luck, do your best, and go.